So the name of the paper is We Go Way Back, Affiliation-Based Hiring and Young Firm Performance, and it was published in Strategic Management Journal. This was with an awesome co-author. Her name is Vera Rocha, and she's at the Copenhagen Business School. There's been conflicting ideas about whether companies should go out and hire from places where they have former connections. So places where managers might have worked at another company, or where those managers have school connections. Is it good for the company to do that, or is it harmful for the company to do that because of sort of a nepotism bias? So the approach was to look at young firms. Why? Because it's easy to tell when founders go out and hire from their former employer or their former school. And we went to Denmark to do this. Why Denmark? Because they keep immaculate records of not just companies, but also all the people in the company. So we can tell the complete career histories of not just the founders, but anybody that the founders hire. We looked at their profits, at their revenues, and their survival over that time, and tried to figure out how hiring through former affiliations, specifically old employers and school affiliations of the founders, how that helped or hurt these new ventures. When founders hire from former employers, so people that they worked with at a previous job, or from people that they went to school with previously, it generally helps the company. It improves profits and revenues roughly 5%, and it increases the likelihood of survival of young fledgling firms by about 25%. But there's some nuance. Hiring benefits when you go to former employers tends to help young firms a lot, but only very early, and only when the founder worked very closely with somebody. What we also found is that going back to former schools is a little bit more interesting. So generally it helps, but there's some nuance here. It helps if you go back to your universities or vocational schools. It actually hurts performance if you go back and hire people that you grew up with at elementary school. So the really, really old friends that you might have deep childhood bonds with actually harms performance of these new ventures. And interestingly, this going back to school is more beneficial if you go back and hire distally. In other words, you're not hiring the people that you graduated with in your major, but if you go back, say you graduated from University of Cincinnati in business, you come back to University of Cincinnati in a couple years and hire, say, an engineering major, that's where the benefits are really show up. Hiring is an incredibly important strategic initiative that all businesses have to face. So by going and looking at an enormous data set of 8,000 plus startups over a 12-year period, we find that there's this general effect that it helps, at least in highly dynamic settings like entrepreneurial settings, to find people that you trust and that you can work well with.